Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, a live stream and podcast. Now, I think we should dwell on that opening meme, beautiful as it was, and probably not enough time to read it. So can you guess from which correspondent came this meme? And I'll read it for you. I also need to find a ticker tape, don't I, to tell you that Bob and Viv will be here with us from 9:30 this morning, reporting from the north of Portugal. Let's see if last time's ticker tape was sufficient. Let's roll it anyway and see what happens, because it tells you that Bob and Viv are joining us at 9:30. And of course, the mindful migration man, James Banana Slug Holley, will be here, aka Marty Gordo, reporting in from his. Well, he has to, first of all, he has to be reminded that it's been a weekend, and I think he knows that because there's a 2-day gap where there isn't a Good Morning Portugal show. That is now James's weekend. One day, much like another, apart from not watching the GMP show. Thank you. If you are doing that this morning, tell us how your weekend has gone, please. And you can send pictures, as people have done. Thank you so much on 913-590-303 from the Alentejo, where you will find Esperão wine creators. Slow Forward looks like they're... what's it called? A strapline. That's right, strapline. Funny old phrase that, isn't it? Now, this was sent to me by somebody who likes their gin, so I'm not going to necessarily reveal their identity. You might want to hazard a guess. The world moves at a faster pace than ever, but to many of us, it looks like we're going nowhere fast. Fast is surrendering our privacy for instant access to memes. What's wrong with that? Fast is downing a double espresso while rushing to work. It also has its attractions, but I get the gist here. Fast has us watching 5 seasons of a show on Netflix in one gulp. Yeah, the old binge watching. Fast has made the week speed by because we are too busy to stop and look around. Fast isn't forward. We're from the slow country, and we have a different pace of life, and it makes life look pretty good. Slow is smart. Slow is a skill. Slow is progress. So if you're in a hurry, drink wine slowly. Drink life slowly. Now, that's the top line in this, isn't it? Drink life slowly. There are many ways to move forward. This is ours. Now, we've rolled that VT. There are videos to go alongside these beautiful words at Esperão's website. They are the great winemaker of the Alentejo, one of the great winemakers of the Alentejo. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. Other images that came from this same person. Does this give you a clue to their identity and what they were enjoying at the weekend? Cherish gin. Which castle is that in the Alentejo? Do we think? This person has had a very slow weekend in the Alentejo. The birds are almost flying backwards. Cherish gin. What is the motif they are referring to? Lots of questions for you this morning. What is the motif that is being referred to on that gin logo? And they must have gone to the creator, the source, if you like, of this particular gin. Although that looks like a monument to the fallen, doesn't it? Those who've maybe had a bit too much gin, perhaps there. But I see what they're getting at with the shape of the bottle and the motif on there. Which Alentejana town is that? Do let me know. And let me know what you've been up to this weekend. We had the most fabulous weekend. We are back. I was going to say fresh. Not exactly fresh. And we're certainly back from our first wonderful Portugal discovery weekend. Thanks to everybody who came. Thank you, Amy. Great to see you there. Thank you, Christina and John. Thank you, Andy Klein. Bobby O'Reilly did us proud as host of the event at Ericeira. I've got more pictures to show you in just a moment. It was great to see people coming along for little bits. I think our method, and this is what we will be repeating. Let's get a few more comments on the screen as well this morning. Good morning, Leela as well. Pete's in, as well as Deagle, and the J missing from James, which is making it Amish on the screen. I wonder what that's about. And Coach Turner has had a great weekend as well. Let us know if you're watching, if you're lurking. Do let us know how you're doing. And James says, or Ames says, so fast is bad and wrong, and slow like gin is good and right. It's got him thinking, isn't it? Nicole, thank you so much for being here this morning. Glad to be finally catching this live from Portugal. Yes, Nicole. Have we got a special parabéns for you, I wonder? I think we do, don't we, somewhere? I certainly made it so that this could be played for such occasions. Yes, this is especially for you, Nicole, the Saudade Life, for you finally catching the show live from Portugal. And we'll roll in our celebration and thanks and gratitude and just reflecting on what a fantastic time we had over the weekend with this. It says on the screen there, celebrating your Portuguese milestones all the way with you on the Good Morning Portugal show. Glad to be celebrating this one with you, Nicole. How are you? Let us know what help you might need in this part of the journey. Great. That's great news. Well done, Nicole. Thank you for tuning in live. Some people forget about us once they've got here. Well, they don't forget about us exactly, but I do get apologies from people that I bump into who come to the meetups. And I'll mention the show, and they're like, I shuffle a bit. And go, well, I'm sorry, I don't watch it as much as I used to before I was in the country. It's okay. Now, if you want to stay in touch, did I mention this on Friday? If you want to stay in touch and just get bite-sized action, who doesn't like a bit of bite-sized action first thing in the morning? We've got two podcasts. We've got the main Good Morning Portugal podcast, which is available on most podcasting platforms. And really conveniently on Spotify, we've also got the Portugal quiz and Try Something Portuguese podcast as well. Now, I was listening to it myself on Friday. Yes, very vain, isn't it, really, listening to one's own podcast? But I wanted to check the user experience, and I'm doing that now. I'm not going to play. Yeah, I could play it for you live now. The Portugal quiz over on Spotify. It's a good way of listening to it, and I'm going to find the link to it for you. And you can just get lots of facts. Certainly get lots of questions and a little bit of fun with us trying something Portuguese. We've tried the Castelões cheese so far, and we've tried the tremoços, and we'll try something else tomorrow. And this was my Portugal resident piece, wasn't it, on Friday as well? Actually, then before I forget, before I set too many hares coursing, not whores casing. Whoops. Before I set too many hairs coursing, let me just put the link in. So podcast number 2, and hopefully you'll think it is better than podcast number 2. This is probably not the best description, is it? My number 2 podcast. Oh, stop off, Microsoft. Why would I want news right now? You don't know, do you, until you become a little bit more artificially intelligent. I'm actually doing a live stream right now. I don't need your horrible news headlines from around the world. There you go. So the other podcast, the Short Burst podcast. Oh, hi, Viv. See you soon. Bon dia. We're both listening. But what's this? Bob is listening via earbuds while walking Gustavo. Gus. To you and me. Gustavo, his real kennel club name by the look of it. So there's the podcast on Spotify. Bite size and lots of fun. And you can intersperse that, of course. Freudian slip, yeah. Too many hairs coursing. There's the other link to the podcast. If you feel like 90 minutes is too much, I mean, who doesn't like 90 minutes first thing in the morning? It depends what it is, of course. If you just want to dip into the Good Morning Portugal community, keep in touch, learn something about Portugal every day, but you haven't got 90 minutes to share with us, that's a really good way. That's a really good substitute. It doesn't have to be eat nothing or something or feast or famine. It can be the Good Morning Portugal Light, we'll call it. Must show you a few pictures from our wonderful Portugal Discovery weekend. Then next month, we're off to Tamar. The filming was great. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. We need to say hello to everybody this morning, but it was fantastic, and I've got pictures to prove it as well. Oh, actually, I'll start from the end. Now, did I save the wonderful picture of Andy Klein? He was filming on the beach. I've not done that. Now, where did that go to? Oh, it was slow loading, I think. So it was a bit of a struggle to bring. Oh, here it is. I've found it now, and I'm going to bring it to you now. But yeah, this is how things ended up as the sun set on the weekend and on the Atlantic coast of Portugal. Absolutely beautiful. Here's Andy in filmmaker mode. Our very own Cecil B. DeMille. For the Englishman, the Irishman, and guests walk into a bar, the first of which we recorded this weekend. And there he is getting some beach footage at Fonte de Telha, just down from Costa de Caparica, just up from the Rabada National Park and Sesimbra and so on. Great job, Andy, and wonderful, Bobby. Thank you so much for your excellent hospitality throughout the weekend. It has to be said, right from the get-go on Friday and through to last night. Well, it was just me, Andy, and Bobby on the beach chatting. It was great fun. Oh, and thank you, Pete, who's been to the parsnip. I think all the windows of central Portugal are open this morning after plenty parsnip action over the weekend there. What did you have, Pete? Tell us. As well, let's say a few hellos then before we have a look at a few people's pictures. Coach Turner, guess who I was with? I was with Colin, as you'll see in a little while. He was also a racing driver, of course, wasn't he? He raced MGs, I believe, and he loved watching the rugby at the weekend. Well done, Ireland. Let's just take the sunset pick off at the moment. Got Nunu's fantastic pictures from his campfire cookery. It's amazing what you can do on a campfire when you know what you're doing. Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to show you. Going back to last weekend, the end of last week, I should say. That was the Cabidela that came through. I was talking to Frank, of course, and it is the subject of my Portugal resident article this week. Try something Portuguese. Lots of great suggestions. And there's your chicken blood rice, which is a speciality up there in the north of Portugal. And that's not a bowl of blood. That is a bowl of wine. They drink wine from bowls up there. The blood is in the blood rice there. So thank you very much, Antonio Barbosa. A week tomorrow, we'll, of course, be having that webinar, Getting Real with Real Estate in Portugal. So much going on at the moment. We're at the Beer Festival next weekend. And tomorrow night, a Portugal Club special. We'll be talking to the wonderful Ibrahim, who is from the Iranian community here in Portugal. So we'll be finding out what it's like to be part of that community, he's going to talk on behalf of the Iranian people here in Portugal. And a unique angle tomorrow night as a special guest of the Portugal Club. If you want to tune into that and drop into the Portugal Club as a special guest tomorrow night at 8:30, just drop me a line, and we'll make sure you can join us for that with that chat with Ibrahim that I'm really looking forward to. So where were we? We were going through your messages, weren't we? And Coach Turner's. Bom dia, bom dia, bom dia, bom dia, bom dia, bom dia. Como estás? Had a great weekend of car racing and some fantastic rugby from the World Cup. Absolutely. Well done, Portugal. So another great effort from Portugal against the strong Georgia side. The atmosphere where we were watching the Ireland South Africa match was incredible. I'm sure you enjoyed that, Coach T. God Squad tip of the day from you. As a coach, I try to help my athletes maximize their potential. Yes, of course. So it is easy for me to forget that's not what the God Squad is about. Right. We are about keeping healthy and having fun. And if anybody does want to go on to maximize their potential, we're certainly open to that. But baby steps, right? And talking of baby steps, the baby step man himself, who's taken several giant leaps for mankind around London and the UK over the last few months. That is a big Phil. Phil Cooklin has reached his 1,700,000 steps over the weekend. Some great video, which we'll play you this week as well. I'll download that. So I'll get his permission first and download that from Facebook. But well done, Phil. An incredible effort raising money for charity, mate. 1,700,000 steps for Diabetes UK. So, you don't have to do that as part of the God Squad. It's just about having fun, keeping healthy, as Coach Turner says. However, to stay healthy, you have to do some physical activity. So put your shoes on, open the front door, and put one foot in front of the other. You never know what. You might enjoy the experience. And the Discovery weekend was a real blow to my normal fitness schedule and food and eating schedule. I'm not complaining, by the way, but still managed to just stay just under the 80 kilos. I'm trying to hit 75 kilos. and making pretty good progress overall. But that was quite a spanner in the works over the weekend with so much beautiful food and fun going on. Bom dia a todos. Cheers, Coach Turner, for that. Bom dia a todos. Feliz segunda. Como foi o vosso fim de semana? How was your weekend? Oh, he does know it's a weekend. Very good. Dad joke warning. I saw a man. This is great. Filling the void. The continuing void of T-Duck. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise, and it's still the void of the T-Duck episode. He'll be back later on this week, I suspect. So we've had a deep thought, though, haven't we? Dad jokes are being attempted, but the Cane Sabia is being missed by me, and I'm sure others, and we'll be back later this week, I hope, with T-Duck. Good luck, T-Duck, with all that you're doing. I saw a man standing on just one leg at the ATM. The cash machine. Confused, I asked him what he was doing. He said, I'm just checking my balance. Mind your own business. Very good. And a visual, although I'm going to save that one for when you come on, Ames. Bon dia, Carl and Gumpers from an OK. How do those checkups go, Deagle? Let us know. Belfast 9 degrees, should hit 14 degrees, but a super storm hitting Wednesday and Thursday over there in Belfast could be an official hurricane. What? Looking like one of the worst storms to hit Ireland in the UK. Really? Blimey. All this wild weather at the moment. I am at my final hospital appointment this morning. Okay, so they're ongoing, so it's watching on catch up. Ciao, ciao. Well, all the best with that. I hope you've had good news by the time you see this, Deagle. All the best, mate. Por sorte e bom dia. Now, Mr. S, what's going on here? Bom dia desde Oval Duro. Pinhal was a little US. Okay, so American num. Come on, Mr. S, take your time. We've heard about the benefits of being slow this morning. Less haste, more speed. Or is it the other way around? Valduro, Valdoduro. Qualquer deva ser Valdo Rio Duro. E, portanto, e Valdo Duro. E assim, Antonio, bom dia também. So is Antonio in as well? I didn't see him coming in. But anyway, let's see. Did you, asked Pete, go to the Parsnip Festival, Mr. S? It was great. Tell me you at least had a parsnip donut and a parsnip liqueur. They really are stretching the genre, are they not? Shark jumping moments within the parsnip world there. Poor form. No, he didn't go. Poor form. It was a bit of parsnip shaming as well this morning for you, Mr. S. It was a lot of fun and on your extremely hilly doorstep. Okay. So next year, there's always next year. Leela, how you doing? How's that job search going? Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Portugal, you say. With a lovely little smiley emoji and a mountain scene there behind the town hall. So many great things going on behind the town hall. I think it may be on today as well. The wind down of the Parsnip Festival. The last few bits of wind to be released, I suspect. It really is the best possible fun you can have with the parsnip, debatably. Organic, of course. Covilha, the Covilha. I'm around Porto Gaia since Friday. Okay, Mr. Essa on tour, moves away from the Parsnip Festival. Perhaps for obvious reasons. Okay, you need to time your traveling better. It's getting a bit bossy with you, isn't he, Mr. S? It was even glorious at the top of Portugal yesterday. Okay. And yeah, Nicole, what are you up to? Viv, thank you for being here. See you a bit later on. And yesterday, continuing parsnip adventures. Yesterday was the last day, I'm afraid, says Pete. So he's checked. But we just so happen to have bought some amazing parsnip liqueur so you can relive the experience. But parsnip donuts will have to wait until next year. And we've got some pictures of parsnip fun. Douro. Is that not what I said? Fantastic work from you. You do it when you arrive, James. Fantastic work from Kotu and Douro. And from Anga Postecoglou at the weekend. What's this? Nothing better than outplaying cheating Arsenal at the Stadium of Silence. Bit of football banter as well. Pete on fine form this morning. 3 shredded wheat and about 27 parsnips over the weekend. Hola, amazing Carl. Oh, well, thank you very much. Good morning to you, Veronica. How are you this morning? Happy Monday. Thanks for being here this morning. And I'll just check in on Pete's parsnip pickies. Pete's parsnip pickies. Sounds like a feature here this morning. I can't see this. You must have sent them on. Why it got to be different, Pete? It is better for me on WhatsApp, but let's see what we can do a bit later on. Thank you also to Anna, Sweden, Portugal. You sent us in a lovely pic, quite a lot this morning. And we'll have a quick tour of our own Portugal Discovery weekend. That's your sunset right there, isn't it, Anna? With the beautiful seagull in motion and the rooftops of where are we? What we looking at? VRSA, of course, there. So yeah, Veronica on the screen and VRSA on the screen more generally with a beautiful glowing sunset. I'm taking it from last night as well. Let's see what you got to say about your picky there. Let me just I've just obscured everything with my WhatsApp screen. Bon dia, you say, Anna, on my way north on a car cruise. Car cruise, that makes traveling by motor car sound so glamorous. So can't listen this morning. Oh, we've got a bicycle question as well. We've got the Yermans, haven't we, touring the Portugal's Route 66 and a bicycle question for the Portugal quiz and a car cruise from Anna. So can't listen in, but here's a picture from her. A coffee with a view from my balcony. Oh, so that was early this morning at 7:51. Thank you very much for thinking of us, Anna. Some pictures from Nunu as well, which we'll come back to. Here's a little taster of Nunu's weekend. Have I got one of the actual fish itself? Is that the fish? No, there's the campfire. So there you go. That's some pretty good. Is that canna or bamboo they're using? Is that the great big canna? It does have its uses, head gardener McGrady. We'll come back to your incredible cooking. Oh, and Andy Andy was there at the. Do you remember we played you a little bit of was it VT or one of the questions? I can't remember. Certainly, we covered the cooking of sardines on roof tiles. They didn't use the ones over that barbecue. They're still intact, as you can see that, but flipped over the other way, covered in sardines, and they bake the potatoes, don't they, in the sand there. By Randy capturing that for us. He's going to be a TV star soon, you know. By Randy. Nice one, mate. Thank you very much for that. Let's have a look then at our Portugal Discovery Weekend. A few pickies for you from the first. And I think we've got a good formula of not organising it too tightly. The action, literally, action for us yesterday afternoon. No, sorry, Saturday afternoon was some filming. It's the Englishman, the Irishman. And on this occasion, it was two New Yorkers. Barry and Bryna were our very special guests for our debut filming. Thank you to Golf Dagua for hosting us. And let's show you some pictures, shall we? I reported in, just checking in to see how everyone else's weekends were doing, and a few pickies from our own weekend. There's Barry and Bryna. Bobby, of course, to the left of the picture. Just before the the sushi munching started in earnest, it was the most amazing platter of Portuguese sushi that I have ever feasted upon. It was superb. Pedro Soundman, it was his first time holding Andy's boom, and I think you can see from the smile on his face that he kind of liked it. It was painful at times, but once he got used to it, I think he quite enjoyed it. New career in boom pole holding. There he is. He's a bit of a private pole dancer as well at times. And he's learning the tricks of the trade with Andy. Great job, Andy. Pedro enjoying himself. Good morning, Barry and Bryna and Bobby there, of course. What's that sweater he's got on? That's his Irish rugger jersey for later on that same day when we watched the rugby at his house. And there he is at his pad, pouring the Guinness with his, it's not called a widget, is it? It's a special way of pouring the Guinness, and it was delicious. It was delicious. Best pint of Guinness I've had for a little while. Although the can isn't quite a pint, but it was a beautiful sight to behold and a great aperitif to a great rugby match. Who's this? It's all right, my love. It's Brucey. Oh, give us a twirl. Give us a twirl, Anthea. No, it's not Brucey. It's Colin Ross Jones joined as well. Poolside, there he is. The ex-MG racing driver and rugby coach, and popped over to Bobby's to watch the match. And I sat next to him on the sofa. What a great game that was. Fantastic fun. And there's a close-up of the sushi. It really, I mean, the best sushi I've ever had, no question. Look at those beautifully carved radish toadstools there. A flower of wasabi. Really, really beautiful. Things, fish, eggs, all sorts of things that I've never had before in the Golf Dagua restaurant where we were able to film. There's Phil. He crossed the line yesterday in a good way. 1,700,000 steps. This is a report from from Gumperville, the Gumperverse, as well as our Discovery Weekend in Ericeira. Other things going on, such as Phil walking a total of 838 miles in 86 days for Diabetes UK. Not too late to support him if you want to. Find him on Facebook. and 1,700,000 steps. He had the idea to walk 1 million steps, ended up doing 1.7 million. Well done. Now, this was a sobering moment when I got sent this meme. This is your Arvo in heaven watching you cook sardines in an air fryer. And I had to send that to Gilda over the weekend. Not me, she says. So, yeah, she's never going to be buying that. This is interesting, I thought, over the weekend. Percentage of people self-identifying as without religion in Portugal. Now, the total seems to be 47.8. And can we deduce from this map that the further south you go, the less godless people become, and vice versa? The more are the pious and the religious and spiritual to be found in greater concentration in central and northern Portugal? Are Pete and Mr. S great examples of the phenomenon? And are you sort of godless heathens down there in the mainly in the south? I wonder. And I don't mean that in any judgmental way, but thank you, Michelle, from the Gumperverse, from Australia, actually sending us that over the weekend. That's interesting, isn't it? Drawn with Data Rapper. Data Rapper, you remember him, don't you? From the different Data Rapper. Percentage of people self-identifying as without religion in Portugal. It conflicts with some of the other figures we've had about Catholicism, does it not, here in Portugal? But that's what happens, I guess, when you use different surveys to share various information about Portugal. There is the if I put onto the screen the link to the Spotify podcast, you can check out the Portugal quiz every other day, which of course is alternated with Try Something Portuguese. My son is outside in the garden. Everything all right, mate? You what? They might be. Check it out. He's looking for it. You see, when you go away as a family, you lose stuff, don't you? Phone cables this morning. He's rooting around in the garage trying to find himself a phone cable, which may have been lost or left in a plug somewhere in south of Lisbon this morning. So there's the podcast. Try Something Portuguese, which we'll do tomorrow. Any suggestions for that tomorrow? It's got to be something I can get. I was going to park on a roundabout and show you the picture, but I didn't get around to doing that over the weekend. So there you go. There's our weekend in a nutshell. There was so much going on, far too much really to put in a nutshell, but that gives you a little flavor there. Has anyone else joined us? Yes, those wonderful global nobles. Bon dia todos. Had the best time with the Gumpers this weekend. Thank you. Well, thank you, Amy and Greg. Lovely to see you. And from Winsurance, Jimmy Chu's trying to break into the studio. What are you doing? What's the matter? We'll see you after the show. You've been out for a walk, you naughty boy. Okay, bon dia from Camilla from Winsurance this morning. How you doing, Camilla? Lovely to see you here. Right, I had no idea. It's always on your doorstep, isn't it? I had no idea such a festival existed. I don't like parsnips, though. That is a bit of a drawback if you're thinking of going to a parsnip festival. I'm going to hold Nunu's campfire action because I want to go through it with, I think James will enjoy looking at what went on at the campfire with Nunu this weekend. I think he's in his element when he's out in the elements. Jimmy, go on, get in your box, naughty boy, go on. Gosh, blimey. I go away for a few days and the whole pack, my alpha male status being challenged. He's had the place. Well, he got looked after, of course, but he's. I think he might have imagined himself to have risen up the pecking order here in the pack. So go and lie down, and we'll have another walk later on. Right, let's play his theme tune because he's patiently waiting. And I wonder why he seemed a bit offended by this idea that slow is good, fast is bad. Or maybe he doesn't give a proverbial. We'll find out in just a moment after we've played his theme tune this morning. This is relaxing, isn't it? I would put this on the slow side rather than the fast side. Let's enjoy it now and see him on the other side of this.
Bon dia, feliz segunda.
Monty Gordo, how are you doing today?
and his co-host, John Philip Sousa.
Yes. Portuguese in there somewhere in the DNA, if not in the pronunciation. Okay. So hold on a minute. This duro thing. What am I doing wrong there? Duro.
It's your OU combination. OU in Portuguese, as I understand it, is always more like the English O.
Doro.
So kotu, doru, and
And I
O
say
is always you, and you do it reverse. You say duro.
Doro.
Doru.
Doru.
I'm not an expert. That could be totally screwed up. I don't know, but following the rules, I'd say, okay, I know it's kotu because I checked that one out. I got that verified by Portuguese. And so far, my experience, anytime you see OU, it's pronounced O.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for that,
Yes.
Doro. That sounds like a really great watermark or sticker that we can get certified by Portuguese.
I think duro means hard. Right,
And
so
maybe that's what I've been wanting to say all
it's
along.
the hard river or the hard valley. I don't know, but
Yes, okay.
but it's not spelled that way.
Okay, so your Portuguese certification process, I'm suddenly interested in. What is it? A laboratory? Is it a think tank? What is it?
Well, I think I signed up for Minha Exmereicia's all-in-one Portuguese. That's my primary learning
Tool,
foundation tool, whatever. And then my analytical mind always wants to break stuff down and understand it on a deeper level. To me, I feel like if I do that, then I can be more creative with the language ultimately, because I have a better understanding of how it works and all that. And the part of me that wants to be able to speak the language now is just hungry for hard and fast rules, which are hard to find in Portuguese. So when I find them, I talk about attachment. I am attached to my hard and fast rules in Portuguese.
Duro y rápido. Yep, hard and fast.
Yeah. So when I can find them, that's why I love accented vowels so much. They're always pronounced the same. And they always show you where the emphasis in the word is. So they actually tell you how to say the word when you read them.
It's actually very helpful.
Always. Yes. Yeah. And another little lesson I think I've learned, and I've kind of verified it. I don't know that it's hard and fast, but I realized that if a vowel is already in the emphasized syllable, which generally is the second to the last or the penultimate one, then it's pronounced as if it has one of those little accent marks on it. So it tells you how to, so casa, the emphasis is on the A, the first A, because it's the penultimate syllable, but there's no accent over it, but you still open it and say, ah.
Yes.
And same thing with O, with aw, things like that really help me. It's like, oh, now I can begin to, at least on a higher percentage, pronounce these vowels correctly, depending on where they sit in the word, because O has all these different sounds to make. That just, my brain's like, that's too confusing. I need a rule.
That's really helpful. That's really helpful. So it's like having lighthouses in the foggy mystery of
yes. I don't know what's over there. I just know there's a light.
Or they are the pillars of a suspension bridge. Once you've got a few uprights, or a fence, once you've got a few uprights, you can fill the blanks in, and these are your uprights, aren't they, of the language, of the grammar, and so on. Yeah,
and I realize now in my learning, I'm missing a lot of verbs. I have lots of nouns, but I can't do anything with them. So
they need bringing together, don't they?
Yeah. So I have a very specific approach. It's like I'm working with present tense simple. Get that down. Yes. I go now. I eat now. You don't have to say now, but I eat, you go, we go, just get that down first. And then I can start, when I have the foundation of that, start branching into more sophisticated language.
It's the essence of pidgin approach to languages, isn't it? Is just to say everything in the present tense or the unconjugated verb. I go to house now.
So me sound like caveman, but that's all right.
I speak I speak to you now. Pleased meet you.
Yes. And then if I want to ask a question, I just influx the end of the sentence.
Yes, the rising inflection is very useful, very annoying sometimes, but very useful too. Now, you talked about the present tense, which is a very good connection to Nunu's weekend, isn't it? See what
that I don't know. I don't know anything about Nunu's weekend,
James,
other than he was camping.
Yeah, and present tense. Present tense, camping.
Oh, like intense.
Yes,
they went camping. It was really intense. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah, now I understand.
I'm exhausted.
Present tense is like what?
Yeah. Well, it was last weekend, so it's the past tense.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Tense. Okay. Yeah. Finally, bing, bing, bing.
Now, who says you can't create incredible food at a barbecue? Now, these are really tiny on my screen. I hope I'm showing barbecue action from the campfire. Here he is. Well, actually, I don't know if that's him. He might be taking the photograph. But they've got some good kit, and they've got a blibbing good fire going there, haven't they? A red snapper or a red fish anyway.
A red fish in leaves.
Wrapped up in leaves. I don't think you eat the leaves. I think they're part of the cooking process. And some more hollowing out of. Do you think that's the canna? Or
I don't think so. I don't think canna is hollow like that.
Oh,
I think it's got a lot of fiber in the center of it. Okay. Again, not an expert, but
a lot of fun though. Look at that. I mean, you know, they got the scout knives out, and they're cutting through the bamboo there, and then they're packing the bamboo with food. It's got a nice integral lid on it to keep the moisture and flavor inside the bamboo, and then it's packed like that. I think it's getting wrapped in leaves again. Is that an egg that's been cracked into the vegetables there? I'm seeing some broccoli. That looks beautiful, doesn't it? I mean, if you got to serve that in a restaurant, you'd think this is very special. But he's done that.
Put a dribble of something over the top of it and charge 85 euros for it. We're
in business. That's right, and you can have people dressed up as scouts.
And don't miss the fork and spoon that have been carved from a piece of wood.
What did you just say?
Fork and spoon.
Oh, of course, that's okay then. Fucker. No.
Feckin' Egypt.
But is that a fucker or is it a
fucker?
Now we're allowed to say that, but here.
Yeah, watch it if it's mother's knife. You want to be careful.
Could you pass the fucker, mother?
You can't have that. That's mother's fucker.
Oh, James, come on. That is the veg, and there's some steamed meat. I mean, he doesn't like their meat steamed by the campfire.
Yes, the ultimate steamer, apparently. Put it in bamboo and seal it up.
You can keep. I can't believe we just giggled like schoolboys about what a knife is in Portuguese. Let's see. Yeah. But then again,
that's all we are, really. I think that's all most men are, just 13-year-olds in our brains.
Bald or grey schoolboys, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So some very nice cuisine there. Slightly singed by that point, but I would eat that. I would definitely eat that. It's not a parsnip to be seen.
If you notice, the food is not singed. It's just it's the utensil, which is meant to be disposable or probably compostable.
And as you sit there, full belly, satisfied that you are able to cook for yourself in the elements, against the elements sometimes, you can throw the container onto the fire and enjoy the last heat of a sustainable cooking process.
There you go.
Amazing.
Save the knife and fork or fork and spoon, whatever that combination is. But
yes, whichever the best way of saying it is for a cheap laugh. Okay. So well done, Nunu, and all those scouts on that weekend. Welcome, well done as well, and welcome back to the screen.
Now, those are not scouts; those are goats
and cyclists, all mixed up there in a soup of wildlife and modern invention. Oh, I would like to do the quiz with you, but actually, maybe we should wait for Bob and Viv for that. But the Yermans are making fabulous progress as well. Now, you see, what were you saying about this? I really like this because this is about.
For me, it's the positioning. It's all about language. It implies that being fast is bad and wrong.
There's a time.
It implies that being slow is good and right.
Yeah.
And It's just me looking at what are they trying to say. I get so I'm so challenged by this whole bipartisan, or not bipartisan.
Polarity, isn't it? Polarization.
Yeah, polarization. And I didn't want to say bipolar. It's like, well, wait a minute, that's
different.
Stephen Wright said the Earth is bipolar.
Yeah,
it cracked me up. He's got such a straight delivery. Anyway, yes, that whole division and this idea we're right, you're wrong. We position ourselves against each other. It's like this. While I understood the point, and I actually agree with the idea of it works for me. Like that's the approach I would take. Being slower works for me. It might work for you, as opposed to being fast is, this bad thing and that bad thing and doesn't get you what you want. But being slow is the answer for everybody. It's like that positioning just irritates me. So
well, that's when and you're right. This is so much of our times, isn't it? When you other or polarize, it gets uncomfortable, doesn't it? And it becomes ideological, and freedom is lost, isn't it? By suggesting that something is, what we could rephrase that. What are the benefits of being more slow or living life more slowly? That'll be an intelligent way of looking at it, isn't it? But when you get into, I guess, the fast isn't forward, it gets a bit accusatory, doesn't it? And making it wrong. Making things wrong is a recipe for trouble.
Yes, and it occurred to me as we got to the end and you explained who was sponsoring that, which is, as I understand it, a gin manufacturer, that there is a product called...
let me just correct that. That is not a certified Portuguese fact. It hasn't gone through the Banana Slug Laboratory of Portuguese certification. I would have confused you there. Esperão are the people who stand behind that type of marketing, and it might be that the gin company I shared as well, that is this one. It might be part of
I see. Okay, yeah.
It is Esperão, as you'll see
all mixed together. Because I go, well, wait a minute. If it's a gin company, then there's a product called Slow Gin, and that would be
maybe that's why they bought them up. They're buying anything slow at the moment, so be careful out there. If you're moving too slowly, you might be co-opted into the slow movement by
the slow everything.
That's right. Yes, look, we only employ old people because they tend to be slower.
And I guess permanent. Well, I guess there's still movement suggested in slow. I was going to say, if you get to the ultimate slow, which is no movement, then I think you're kind of done. So.
Exactly, ultimate slow. That's a terrible condition, isn't it?
The grand last slow.
Great euphemisms to avoid the subject.
Yes, would not go over with Mama Bear. We're not going to call it that.
Presumably, you quite like a slow movement first thing in the morning.
I'll defer to the Portuguese. Depend.
It depends. Brilliant.
Not the product, okay?
I've got to get those t-shirts. That's got to be some GMP merchandise, and the "It Depends" t-shirt will be hilarious, won't it? I mean, it's to turn up somewhere proudly proclaiming "It Depends" is a pretty good start. I think you're in good company if someone turns up with an "It Depends" t-shirt on. Let's get round to that, as well as our Be Portuguese About It merchandising. Although that sounds quite bossy as well, doesn't it? What about other nationalities who might be upset by that? Yes.
Yeah, well, at least it supports a Portuguese approach, I think. Yeah. But it doesn't acknowledge all the other potential approaches.
For which we're sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Slow is a great way to go to sleep, and fast is fun and energizing. Yeah, time for everything. But it does depend on how fast your brain works. I have to try to slow down, and others have to try to speed up. We mosaic people. Now, that's a really good point, isn't it? And this is one of the great ironies and paradoxes of humanity. I've always thought this with meditation. I know so many people who meditate who probably don't need to anymore. It's a habit now, and they enjoy it. And I'm not going to stop anyone and getting in the way of anyone who wants to meditate or not. But it always occurs to me that people who might benefit most from it don't do it, and probably never will. And it's the same, isn't it? Health and fitness, all of these things. It's like for whom it's really needed, it might never get to that person. Like the slow person. So, oh, bloody hurry up a bit. Okay, we get it. You're the CEO of the slow movement, but haven't you done enough of that now? It's the alpha types that might need to slow down a little bit, and you might benefit from speeding up a bit. Slow.
Well, the really fast ones maybe that could benefit from some slowing down.
Exactly. And that,
as some speeding up could be beneficial to people who are slow.
Exactly.
So yes, it's the balance.
That's the point I'm making. Yeah.
Well, you put me in class when you said it's always the ones that need it that aren't doing it, that kind of thing. And I just remembered how many times it feels like anyway that I was sitting in a class because I tended to follow the rules. That's just how I was. And I sometimes got very frustrated because it felt to me like a waste of time because the teacher was reminding us that we need to do this, that, or the other thing. And the people who needed to hear it weren't listening.
Yes, that's right. Human laws, you could say in many ways are like that, aren't they? Good people, if you like, whatever that means, probably don't need all these laws, do they? The people who are bad people don't listen to anyway, or don't observe. There we go. That's a little bit of a nugget there, isn't there? A little view on human life and humanity, perhaps there. And all are welcome here, good and bad. Gracious greetings, everyone. I mean, you bad ones. James and I will be offering pardons and atonement, throughout the show, should you wish to confess. And morning all. So gracious greetings from the Squire of the Shires and Chris Smith with a morning all. Sorry not to see you over the weekend, Chris. Perhaps next time. We're so close and yet so far. So what's been on your mind? Oh, and Christina C is here. Bon dia, great to meet you, Eliane, as well over the weekend. And your dad, what a lovely gentleman he is as well. And Antonio is here as well. Bon dia, todos.
Antonio! I can't put it in writing because
man cave style.
Well, actually, I can now. So you asked me what's going on. There's a couple of things I just needed to tell you. One is, for the first time in StreamYard, there's a join the chat box at the bottom of the comments. So apparently, if I sign in with my Google account, I can then converse while I'm on screen. But I probably won't do that because then I'm either talking or I'm writing, and that doesn't work very well.
True. And also another thing, Louisa, Mrs. M, was doing a brilliant astrology round table with 3 other astrologers. And at the end, one of them said, oh, there's a button here that says stream to your own channel. I should have done that. So
I don't even know what that means.
Well, there's a little button where if you were to press it in the back office or maybe somewhere on the screen that you can see now, James, you can link it up to your Facebook profile or your YouTube channel and you can stream to your own destination. And for the likes of Veronica, she'll be able to do that as well. And anyone else who's got their own channel, when they're a guest on the screen, they can stream it to their own community as well, which I think is a little bit. Right. He tell the person not listening to listen. Yes, it doesn't work if they don't hear it because they're not listening to you. That's where it got frustrating for James, I think.
That's logic too. Great logic.
Yeah. Oh, and Veronica, Veronica's up for doing that. Eliane, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming. Good morning. It was great indeed. Yeah, lovely to meet you, and all the best in your new career that we were talking about as well. Yeah. So mindful migration reflections. It often takes us a long time to get round to this, and sometimes never at all.
Sometimes we never. Yeah, I guess that's being ultimately present. Because I have a couple more things that I wanted to tell you before moving on to anything else. One is I gave Louisa, my Portuguese sister here, the Cliff Notes version of your confession from last week about the fish and what you're being charged for and what you ended up being charged for.
Yeah.
And she said that 20 euros for the amount of fish that you described you got is about what you should expect to pay.
Oh, what a fantastic relief! Because others were really saying, "Oh yeah." Well, Pete said he'd want a whole truck full for that. And I know, I was hanging out with Bobby at Fontatelia Beach. The fishermen come in and they sell a bag for 5 euros. But in the formal market, in the Mercado Municipal, I'm glad to hear that that's about right.
Yeah, I'm sure it depends on where you are and so on, and
Yeah.
prices in Ericeira are a little more elevated than other places. But she said that seemed like a fairly reasonable price
Thank you.
for what you got from what you described.
Another
Um,
Portuguese certification. That's
I
great.
try to do that as much as I can. So it's
Yeah.
still available to me. It's like I can find out now if I just remember to ask the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
The other piece was there's something. Oh, it was about the size of the fish. The photos that you had of the 3 fish that you had purchased,
Yes.
and you said, well, you can't really get a size scale. It reminded me of a meme. Someone used a GI Joe toy and put him in a fisherman outfit and put a little anchovy next to him, and it says, if you use GI Joe, your fish always looks huge.
Yes. A whopper.
Because the fish was nearly as big as the man. It was pretty
Yes.
funny on a scale.
It would have looked like the Geppetto and the whale, wouldn't it? If I'd have done that, I should have
Yes.
a full character from my children for the photo. It was a mistake, yeah, not to put a euro in there or something. I wonder if you can buy micro euros for such purposes. But thank you very much for doing that, James. Much appreciated. And I did segment it last week because I thought it was a great moment. The pair of us laughing about it. And that is a standalone video on our YouTube channel now, which is proven to be quite popular. I think I gave it a clickbaity title of "Why I Stopped Going to the Market." That gets them watching, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, I put a sort of a subheading when we're together for my future channel, and last week it just said Carl's confession.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that it might get some attention.
True.
What's a
Yes.
confession? What's it about? Oh, stupid fish.
Should I kneel before the fish witch and ask for freedom from my past sins? Maybe I'm sure she will bless me with some, not holy water, but fishy water. The stuff with all the ice cubes in it. She can just splash me with.
Splash it. Doesn't sound too pleasant.
It doesn't really, does it? What did you get from the market? Well, like a new aftershave kind of
Clickbait.
You could call it, couldn't you? A fishy aftershave called clickbait.
Click, 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 click.
You from Links.
I'll go for a swim in shark-infested waters. See ya.
Yes, for the ultimate slow.
There you go. Swim slowly.
That's right. The super highway to the ultimate slow. Okay, right. Okay, come on. What else? What else have you got?
A slow swim to the ultimate slow. I love it. Well, I don't know if 6 minutes is enough. I could hurry through or not. I keep thinking I want to talk about, or it keeps coming back to me, this notion that you have thrown out a few times about, James, I don't say always has it together, but always manages to get over frustration or whatever quickly,
Yes.
And I thought, well, it might be informative to talk about how we do that, what's available to us, some actual tools to getting there, because it's totally applicable to being new in any country, but specifically here in Portugal. You're going to be frustrated, you're going to be disappointed, you're going to find times that you're confused. A lot of times you're confused because of the language, because of the culture, all this stuff. And the question becomes, what do you do with that? Most people who are not being mindful about it just get really pissed off.
Yep.
And they then need to make it bad and wrong, as we talked about. It's all their fault. Stupid people, stupid culture, stupid language, whatever.
Yep.
The frustration builds into that. So how do we avoid that? How do we be in a country that we've claimed is a place we want to be, and be here, as Bob and Viv say so often, with grace? Just be here, like in gratitude and so on. So I got to looking at, not looking at, it's consistent with why I keep bringing around this notice, choose, and act mantra, because it so applies to mindfulness. We can't begin to be mindful until we notice that something's going on. And in that noticing, usually it's a feeling, a sensation of some kind, something feels off. If we don't pay attention to that and look within and say, what's going on, then we're not going to even notice that something's going on.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. I'm feeling agitated. I'm feeling frustrated about this. I'm feeling out of control. That's one that that really drives people crazy. There's a sense of security with this idea that we control things outside of ourselves, and we don't. So if we can raise our awareness to, I feel out of control because I'm not in control of how fast Seth moves, or whether my thing is approved or not, or how long it takes to get my license. I'm not in control of those things. If I don't notice I'm feeling that sense in me, then I can't move to the next phase of it, which is making a choice. Okay, I'm frustrated. I feel out of control. I feel whatever I feel. So what do I want to do about that? And nothing is a choice. Do nothing about it. That's a choice.
Yes.
Do something about it. Well, what do I want to do? So now from the awareness, we can be in choice, and we can say, oh, well, let me take a look at my checklist. Can I do anything about that? And so often the answer is no. So if I'm being mindful, instead of freaking out, going, I need to, I want to, and being attached to it and suffering, I can let go of it. I can go, I don't have control of it. Okay, good. 1, 2, is there anything I can do that might help the situation? It's the if yes, this, if no, that. It's just that whole tree of following where you want to go. If the answer to that is no, it's like, well, what do I want to do about that? It's not in my control. I can't do anything about it. Now, do I want to stay frustrated, angry, sad, whatever I'm feeling around that, or do I not?
Yeah.
I do not. Okay. So continuing down, this is the mindful process, because I'm paying attention to what's going on with me. I'm noticing that something's going on. I'm looking at what it is. I'm choosing, making a choice about what I want to do about it. And ultimately, then it's taking the appropriate action. And so often the action really is about letting go. I don't control it. I can't do anything about it. I don't want to be upset. What's my solution? I have to figure out a way to let go of it. And letting go isn't pretending you don't care anymore. Pretending doesn't work. It has to be genuine and authentic. So letting go would be, for me, it always starts with a deep breath. And it always starts with looking at what I'm grateful for. And in this case, if I was frustrated, and I bring up my driver's license, it's basically done. I'm just waiting for it in the mail, but it's been 4 months. And they told me I have 6 months before I have to renew my temporary driver license. So I don't want to have to do that. There's some attachment to it. But that's the one that I think about. So if I'm in that spot, it's like, okay, I don't want to feel this anxiety. I don't want to feel this feeling of, and not like I don't want to feel it, like avoid it. It's more what I do want. I want to live in a calm, slow state. And I emphasize slow. I want to be here in appreciation and enjoy the experience I'm having right now, as opposed to being preoccupied with what's not happening over there that I have no control over. So what am I grateful for? Breathe. Gratitude. What am I grateful for? I'm grateful I'm here. And when I'm literally right here in this place, I'm looking out at trees in the distance and a blue sky and the sunshine in the front yard. And it's like, oh, I'm here in Portugal. I'm really grateful for that. And then I think about the culture, and I think about the people. I think specifically about the family that I'm living with. And I'm no longer agitated and frustrated and fearful. I'm relaxed and in the state that I want to be. And that, for me, can take less than 5 minutes if I'm aware, if I'm mindful. So it goes back to the whole batatas fritas, which is where that came up. And I got potato chips. And I was like, I thought I was getting French fries. This is how simple it can be, and now I'm frustrated. I didn't get what I wanted. Like, well, do you control that? No, not anymore. Well, did they have French fries at the stall that you went to? No. So you couldn't have got them there? No. Okay. So you had no control over it. Can you do anything about it now? Well, I can eat the chips. I can throw them away. I can't get French fries like I wanted. It's like, okay, can you get over not having French fries? Breathe. I'm in the middle of this, the Pau de Mafra festa under the trees, having a picnic with my housemate family. It's like potato chips, who cares? Like, and I'm done with it. And, the process took less than 5 minutes.
Yes.
But that's the process. That's how we do it. And obviously, if you're waiting for your visa and you have an airline ticket already reserved and one is depending on the other, it's much more difficult to find that place because everything feels that much more important. But the process is important because maybe in that, when you get to, is there anything more I can do? You may think about it and find out, oh, yeah, I could kick off another email, or I could do some more research, or whatever you can do.
Yes. It's where your mind is at, isn't it? And what or where your focus is and what's running in you. I've heard this expressed in an alternative sort of way of what's running in me at the moment. And you can't answer that question without stopping, can you?
And looking,
yeah. And that is such a beautiful part of this process, and that's your constant gift to us, is to invite people, I think, to look, to stop, look, and listen. It's like crossing the road advice, isn't it? Stop, look, and listen. And you can't really, I mean, and this, I suppose this is one of the this is not in praise of fast. This is in praise of slow. This is perhaps one of those processes where slowing down is useful.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. And again, not like fast is bad, slow is good, but this is where slow can be beneficial. I don't know if we can find a place to settle if we're moving too fast.
Yeah. And it's hard to look and listen, isn't it, if you're moving constantly? And it might be that your constant movement is to stop looking, is to have that not happen.
Well, in terms of the noticing, I just got this is how I do therapy. I just got a visual of walking along a highway with a beautiful scenery. So I can drive past it at 80 kilometers an hour and not see most of it.
Yeah, right.
It's still there. Or I can be walking and I can see almost everything. If I stop, I can see everything in my view. Yes. So the benefit of slowing down in that particular case is pretty directly relevant.
I have this idealized notion of early people that even if they didn't go far, the world would eventually come to them. The change of the day, the change of the seasons was probably enough for most human beings for a very long time, wasn't it? Until they could start flying around the world at great speed, and not just in airplanes, but in motor cars as well. It's incredible how we've changed.
Yeah, and there's an old saying, I don't know where it came from, but I think I've got it right. It is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go slow, go with others.
Well said. Well said. And talking of others, I think Bob and
we've got a couple. We've been waiting because I had to get through my little thing.
They were getting ready.
Okay.
And they are with us with a new feature, Elephant in the Room, which you'll see in just a moment. Oh, very good. So not just stop it, you idiot. The elephant. Well, very good.
I can make lots of sounds, intentional or not.
That call from the Hanna-Barbera cartoon studio is not far away, I think, with such a.
One last thing I got to say: if you look at my profile picture and you look at my name, what do you see?
At the moment, Slug's friend James or Ames. I'm seeing Ames for some reason.
What's just to the left of Ames?
I can't unless I put a comment of yours on the screen.
Oh, that's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that at the moment.
It's intentional. It's a slug in the shape of a J.
Oh, very good. Penny's dropping all over the community at the moment. Let's give him a nice.
Everyone goes, I didn't see that. And then there are those guys, a bunch of slow people moving too fast. They don't see
the slugs of the humor world. Okay, big round of applause. We'll bring him onto the screen. And we can't be seen anymore. Good morning to you, Bob and Viv in the
Good morning.
Looking fabulous as ever. How are you?
Oh, doing well. Yeah.
Great.
Still getting things set up.
Yeah.
Goofy.
Viv is under the watchful eye of the elephant here today. So.
Eye of the elephant.
Literally.
Yeah. Yes. it's a beautiful, beautiful image behind you there.
You know, it brought it changed the energy of this office space. And then what's that?
Could you hand me those books?
Hang on. It changed the energy of the office space.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. It's just moving everywhere. No.
I'm loving the dynamism this morning.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. Trying to adjust. But
We overslept.
yeah.
You as well,
overslept.
right?
What's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
We overslept. Yes.
What is that? Oversleeping? Is that like a weekend?
Is
Well,
that
that's exactly why we overslept. Sleep has been like, what? What?
Yes.
Sleep?
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, but it changed the elephant changed the energy in the room, and then
I did.
Viv looked at it from a feng shui perspective and shifted where the desk sat. Instead of in a corner, it's now facing the door. And we actually, you can't see them, but this room right now, we have a crystal in the window and there are rainbows everywhere.
Oh, I like it when that happens.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, it's the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
So.
Great to see you both. I was saving this for you because we had James talking about potato chip gate again, and how he was able to relieve himself from the misery of not getting what he wanted on that particular occasion at a
It was
festival.
so difficult.
Yes, but he rose above it, and here we have this is from Sue's fight between. Have you seen this before, Bob?
Yeah.
But I.
It's funny every time.
That's one of my favorite.
My name is Adaho Montoya. You peeled my father. Prepare to fry. There you go. Very good.
Prepare to fry.
Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Suze. And lots happening for Suze in the north, and in the north, not of Portugal, in the north of the hemisphere. And before I get sent it to me again tomorrow, James, would you care to take us through this, please, for everybody's?
It kind of needed to be visual because it's long.
Yeah. Okay.
But a horse goes into a bar and orders a pint. The bartender says, "You know, you're in here pretty often. Do you think you might be an alcoholic?" The horse says, "I don't think I am," and promptly vanishes from existence. See, this was a joke about Descartes. I don't even know how to say Descartes. Descartes' famous line from philosophy, "I think, therefore I am." But if I had explained that before the rest of the joke, it would have been putting Descartes before the horse.
Oh.
How much pain! I love it. Show me the pain.
You used how much of our life for that?
That was profound.
Yes,
North of Portugal, then.
Philosophical, even.
Bob and Viv, what's happening up there? I have some river footage and some group photos. I'm not sure what I'm able to share. Is the river, the little river trip, is that a nice thing to be able to share publicly, Bob?
Oh,
was that
yes.
Yeah, and the people with us, I'm sure. Yeah, Sarah and Dan won't mind. Yeah.
Yes.
So
fantastic. All right. So what's been going on? You've been having a busy weekend, and now you need a week to recover. Quite sort of midweek.
It's been like a busy 2 weeks.
It's been a busy month, actually.
What have you been up to?
Year. Just throw it in.
Well, we had a tour. She couldn't get out of the U.S., so we didn't have a tour. And then we had things booked on the tour, so we went on them anyway. So we had a tour by ourselves. So yeah,
we did. We were. Yeah, our first guest for Portugal Pathfinders, after 2 days and 5 canceled flights, postponed it for now.
Yeah, she
couldn't get out of Newark.
She got from California to Newark.
Yeah,
and couldn't get out, so she went back to California. But she's coming back in December.
Yeah. So we're still looking forward to meeting her. But we had, and so we were. I think we talked before on the show maybe about how you approach procrastination and why you procrastinate and things like that, and every time we do, we say we won't, but then we do. And
we even talk about we can't do this again, and
then we do,
and then we do.
so we were pushing to get things ready, but the net result is Wow, we're just delighted with our space downstairs.
It's all done and it's beautiful and it's great.
And
can't wait for somebody to get here.
We are excited, and because of the river trip, we had our first 2 guests in our new space, and then we all took off to do this pre-booked Douro trip with Nazaré Silva, who is Portuguese but ran a tour business for years.
She's retired now.
Yeah, retired, but on the Douro.
Yeah.
And so she arranged a trip on in Memorias de Douro. James, is that Douro?
I think it's Douro.
Okay.
Douro.
6 hours of pure fascination and relaxation.
It was lovely.
In great company with a terrific host. Sergio was just the epitome of a host. The food was fantastic.
Good pork, good wine, good food for 6 hours.
6 hours.
And then you get to Ragua, and that's a lovely town. And then you take the train home.
Yeah.
Or you can stay in the hotel there, which was also very nice. Got a tour of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was a great day.
It's been great.
Okay. So we've got this is you setting sail at Porto. And then going on. Okay. So I'm going to, in that case, I've got so many things on here. I think I've got the setup and then a little bit of you being on the river itself. Okay. This I believe is the first bit. Just shout really loud if this was not meant to be shown publicly. Okay, or wave. You'll have to.
No, I think everything was good. Yeah, we know it's all subject to being seen.
Well, I do say that. I say that on my WhatsApp. If you send me something, it's likely to be shown on Good Morning Portugal.
Sure. Yeah, we know that.
But, this is when I looked at this, and I don't know why, I saw a woman sat in a bar with her hands behind her back as though she was releasing her bra after a busy day. But I'm not sure that is what's happening here. Let's have a look. And forgive me, I'm only seeing this in a very small thumbnail.
Okay.
And based on my life, limited life.
That's not a woman at all. That's a cow.
That's what I'm worried about.
Oh,
I'm worried about. Okay, so
we'll all see it together.
Yeah. That got everyone's attention, didn't it? Okay, so let's have a look at it.
Sometimes
we made it in the nick of time to our Douro River cruise, guided by Nazaré Silva.
No volume.
Stopping it there because we could hear Bob on the film, I think, but not in real life. You were talking to us there, Bob.
Can't talk over the visuals.
Give us your view on it afterwards. Now, I see now it's not a blonde woman with her hands behind her back. It is actually the bow of the ship and 2 life belts.
Yes.
There you go.
Is anyone else seeing this?
We made it in the nick of time to our Douro River cruise, guided by Nazaré Silva, who is an experienced river guide along the Douro.
There you go, Carl. That's the problem I've been talking about. You can't hear my audio. So
I heard you okay there.
Yeah, I heard it all right.
Yeah,
we can't hear it.
We couldn't
we couldn't hear it.
Right. The boat noise is significant. Yeah. But I mean, it was part of the atmosphere for me. I mean,
we couldn't hear anything. It was silent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I really felt like we were about to go from
Yeah. I heard everything Bob said, but there was a lot of motor noise. So.
I'm sure I could hear your bilge pump in the background.
Yeah.
And Carl,
you probably could. It was early in the morning.
Yeah, I hadn't had breakfast yet. That's quite possible.
His bilge pump was very active.
Carl, maybe for you it was just wishful thinking.
Yes. That's so weird, isn't it? It's so weird. I'm going to maybe post that as a meme. What do you see here? Right. So we are now underway, and let's get a bit further down the river for another half minute of beautiful video from Bob and Viv here.
This appears to be another one of the very old vineyards along the Douro Valley. Just a marvelous hillside covered with vines. Beautiful.
That is beautiful. I mean, you didn't have the best weather, did you? It looked a bit grey, but I mean, presume that didn't change things at all. It made it kind of dramatic.
No, it was great. And when we got about halfway there, the sun came out. So it was lovely the rest of the day. But yeah, it was gray and rainy when we started.
But the boat had both covered and uncovered decks.
Yeah. So we sat inside and ate breakfast and drank coffee, and
and
then we had appetizers and port, and then we had lunch.
Oh, stop it. That sounds amazing.
And that, for those that are interested on a trip up the Douro, they can reach out to us on our Facebook page easily or WhatsApp. But we highly recommend this company, particularly this host. He arranged for Dan and I to get a audience with the captain up on the bridge. And so we were able to, both being mechanically minded, we were asking questions about, now, what's this gauge? What's that do? Oh, is that the rudder? And what you just showed is upriver quite a ways. So the first part of it is delightful river banks, everything from river beaches to boulders like we left in Colorado. I mean, just
interesting.
Huge rocks.
Granite landscape. Okay.
And two locks we went through.
Yeah.
Second
one is the highest in Portugal.
Yeah, and the second highest in Europe. 100 feet of rise, 90 some meters or something like that. 37 meters.
Incredible.
And, it was great.
So as far as sorry, I can't resist. It's a bit like you talking to the captain about the machinery. I would love to address this thing about audio quality. Of course, we have Andy Klein's video course on our learnaboutportugal.com. I would say the quickest and easiest way would be to bring the camera closer to you and kind of cup your hand around the microphone port or the microphone and just cup it back, but bring it closer to you. Because if you're out here, it is going to be lost a little bit, your voice.
Yes.
The other thing to do is even with a headset like James is there that you can see, he's beautifully modeling this for us on the screen. If you plug that in, the microphone will then be close to you.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, you won't hear anything, but these microphones on headphones, integral ones, are so good now. I mean, the very first Good Morning Portugal shows, we had this tiny little cheap lapel mic on an angle poised lamp. And this is exactly what James is doing. So if you plug in your headset into your phone and have the microphone near your Fizzgog like that, you're well away. And then another solution is coming from Owen. Good morning to you. Hey, Bob. Couple of spare lapel mics if you want them. How about
that?
That'd be very helpful. Yes.
Yeah. A number. Then you've got to put your dead cat on it. Because then you start getting wind problems, don't you?
Okay.
Make sure you got something furry.
Or a sock on your phone.
Put a sock on your phone. There you go.
As I learned from Carl.
No. Okay.
And while we're on suggestions, there's something occurred to me when you're talking about this person that had booked and couldn't get out of Newark and 5 flights and all the rest. It's a really strong argument for a nonstop direct flight. And I know CAP flies from California direct once a day. You don't lose your luggage. You don't get stuck anywhere. You either take off or you don't. If you do take off, you get to Portugal.
Right.
So
but like many people traveling on points, you got to go with who you got to go with, and so that's the trade-off whenever you're working on points. But she's working on a wonderful option that's including a little bit of time on a cruise ship. So it should be a whole lot more relaxing when she comes back. So we're
and actually
excited.
the last 3 people we know who came home from the US had journeys like that. They got stuck at their destination before coming to Europe, and it was 2 or 3 days before they got out of that airport.
Yikes.
Okay. So
and two were Newark and 1 was Atlanta. So
okay, well, good luck with that. But people, it sounds like you can pick parts of it. You don't have to go on a full-blown 3 or 4 day tour, do you? If people want to just meet you and go on that river cruise with you, they could do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, good to hear.
Yes.
It was a classic case of pivot, you know.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, we when it all came about, we didn't panic. We didn't get worried. We didn't wonder, oh, what next? We just actually, when we found out the first flight was canceled, we went back to bed.
We were so tired.
That's an excellent solution.
No
Morning, it's
problema.
like
Yeah.
going
So,
back to bed.
but it's all good. It's been a fantastic journey getting ready, and so yeah, we're open to doing day trips and that kind of thing just around here rather than the full 4-day 3-night experience. Absolutely. And that could work particularly well for people who are in Portugal still wondering, where do I want to go?
Mm-hmm.
And so we can introduce the Minho region quite readily in a day or two.
Taste of the North for people who are already here. Maybe scouting as well. Great. And your brand, look, I mean, we have Squire of the Shires here calling you the Portugal Pathfinder. So that's clearly working. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
Good.
Veronica has got some great feedback about that trip as well. And Nubianette was on the same one, I think. However, we're going back a little bit. Oh, but before we do, you said your downstairs was ready. Who doesn't like a nice ready downstairs first thing in the morning?
That's right.
By that you mean the accommodation where people can stay.
Yes. Yes, it's downstairs in our house.
Self-sustaining apartment down there.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, that's
but
all
it's not underground. That's all. You know.
Yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
It's not the basement.
No, you're not going to be locked in the dungeon or anything. This is accommodation, so you're taking care of that, which can be a hassle for people. You'll be staying with Bob and Viv. And okay, that's great.
But it's private down there, so they've got their own space without us in it. So.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm still annoyed. We were talking about clickbait. Yuck, clickbait, says American in Portugal, Veronica. And still annoyed at the clickbait that you can't swim on the beach in Portugal. Been swimming almost every day. It makes me sad that people may not move to our beautiful life as they are told our beaches are freezing. And who said that? Not nice. But
not
hey,
us.
Got a click.
We swim in that cold water.
Yeah, me too here. And I think maybe in November, what we'll have to do, Veronica, if you come and join us for the San Martino de Porto Discovery Weekend, we're off and running. Ericeira is fantastic. Tamar next month. San Martino. It's going to be tricky keeping up with Bobby. Bobby's hospitality in Ericeira was amazing. I'm a little bit worried about that when he comes up to San Martino. But hey, we'll go in the sea. We'll give him a different experience. We'll try and get him in the water there. And if we can make a video of us swimming in the sea, we'll use our own clickbait. Naked expats try out cold sea, something like that. We'll get loads of people watching that. So Veronica, we'll get our own back with whoever's been spreading these scandalous rumors about the water. It can be cooler, but it's not impossible to swim here, is it? And even up there in the north, you're saying you go in the water.
We have.
Yes. We swam yesterday in a pool and it was frigid.
Yeah.
It's cold. Because it's been cold up here. It was 10 degrees.
3 nights ago.
3 nights ago.
Like that.
10 degrees.
It was an unheated pool.
Yeah.
And it's invigorating. And
it's good though. Yeah.
But boy, if I just jump in, it's like this is great. It just feels good. I haven't done it in the ocean yet. I will admit to that. But in the rivers, I have.
Right, great. I'm listening, says Veronica. We can choose to get all the ladies to swim on a video to show we can swim. Okay, and some honorary men too in there.
And I'm getting visions of Scandinavians jumping out of the sauna into the ice pool. So
right. It's not that cold.
Are you getting visions of hard parsnips? Probably.
None of that. No.
Okay, only two. Thank you, Mr. S. Only 2 things we can control: appearance and attitude. Very good. Thank you for that. I didn't see that earlier on.
Attitude definitely affects appearance too.
It's so true. They're a
well, and I always say our thoughts, our words, and our actions. That's what we control.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
If I really want to live near a small beach, I'd need to experience it for myself. It's not the sort of thing you would base when you're moving on other senses. Well, yeah, fair point.
No, not at all.
Blasting of car systems. My goodness, what's going on? Going slow is not beneficial when traveling in Gary's car when you're being overtaken by stray sheep. Pete, not a fan of Gary's driving style. Seeing the seasons change on a trip to the shop can be depressing. I do get frustrated, he says. Going up to the Estrella yesterday, what's happening here? There were Portuguese drivers. How do you know they were Portuguese, Pete? They might have been some expats on Portuguese plates who are on the wrong side of the road on hairpin bends. 25 kilometers per hour can be very dangerous up there. And you've been correctly identified by Squire of the Shires this morning. It looked empty on that boat.
Hello, Squire.
That because it was raining and everyone was below deck. I have to say we've seen noticeably fewer crowds at the festivities. The cost of living is harsh, and it looks like the one Nubianette took, who says it's trippy how there were freestanding chairs on there. Yeah, I mean, if it was a Western, you'd expect those chairs to be thrown over and smashed over people's heads and stuff.
Right.
But this is Portuguese
They're expected
culture,
not to fall off the boat. Yeah.
and not to throw chairs. You know,
Don't do that. Yeah.
Best cruise ever. Took the 4-day one, but there is another one for expats. Chartered the entire boat, saves all the. Oh, that's a good idea. Saves all the agency fees. So only 1K for a week, all inclusive. Thank you for that little tip there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Right, we got to move on and let Mrs. M take over the controls for the Barefoot broadcast this morning. Visions of Scandinavia, Bob.
Already?
From Sue's. Sorry about that, guys. But I want you to take part in the Learn Something About Portugal quiz today, and a final word from you all as well. And if you could do it in 10 seconds, that'd be awesome. So we have Europe today, and the top bike producer here. This is Portugal quiz question of the day here with Bob and Viv and James. Portugal was Europe's largest bicycle producer in 2022, according to data released recently by Eurostat. The numbers tell us that Portugal was responsible for approximately 18% of the total bicycle production in Europe, where Romania, Germany, Poland, and Italy were all part of that as well, the leader pack. How many bicycles did top makers Portugal produce in last year's table-topping efforts? Was it 1.7 million, 2.7, 3.7, 4.7, or 5.7 million bicycles? It's sounding like Beijing. Do you want to have a quick guess at that, Bob and Viv? And some final words from you this morning?
I'm going to guess 2.7.
I'm going to guess 4.7 because I know how many bicycles are in the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And a final words from you Portugal Pathfinders.
Just
come on up and see it. It's beautiful. It's wonderful.
Join
us
up here.
That aren't wonderful too. Well, it'll be a balance.
It's a reality trip.
Yeah.
That's what we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent stuff. And James, last mindful Monday migration reflection from you, please.
Yes. Slow works for me.
Beautifully delivered as well. I'll say goodbye to you, and we'll have a little look at that. 30 seconds more as our way out today on the boat, and a nice, slow punt down the river, as my father might say. You've been amazing. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you so much, Bob.
Bye.
James. Ciao, ciao. Thank you very much, and bye for now. Ciao.
This appears to be another one of the very old vineyards along the Douro Valley. Just a marvelous hillside covered with vines.